Hi, it's Deb from Bowl Me Over. How are you? How's your holiday season coming along? I put out a little survey yesterday. I know it's been a while since you've seen me on live feed, so I decided you needed to tell me what you would like to see. I gave a couple choices. One was cheeseburger soup and the other was tomato bisque. I had an online survey, and I also had just type in your answer kind of survey, so whatever worked. And the majority of the people, by a very slim margin, chose tomato bisque soup. So that's what I'm making today. And so before I got started, though, I thought I'd just chat a little bit. I see my cat is wandering through, so if you see her stomping through the kitchen, I apologize for that. I locked everybody else up. But I wanted to check in your holidays. It was before Thanksgiving that I did my last live feed, and it was a crazy time for us. We were up in Oregon and visiting my folks and my aunts and uncles and cousins, and it was a fabulous time. We got to meet my nephew and his wife's little girl. Her name is Frankie, just tiny little thing. And then we also got to meet my cousin Becky's little boy, Owen. We decided he looks like a little cowboy. He's just a little sweetie, so it was like the season of babies. We have 3 new babies in our family this year, so we're lucky and blessed. And let's see, so for after that, I was trying to think, after Thanksgiving, it seems like something crazy was going on then too, and now I can't believe it, but Christmas is next week. And that's just amazing. So my folks will be in town this time, and so we're going to come back this way. So it'll be super fun. It's going to be a blast. A good time's going to be had by all. I hope your holiday season is coming along wonderfully. And just to kind of give you a little background here, what we're going to do today is tomato bisque soup. You can find the recipe on my website, and that is www.bowl-me-over.com. And I apologize, my eye is just tearing away. If I just have an issue with that. What can I say? And the recipe, though, for this is already on my website. It is a fabulous soup. I actually made it for a soup competition I did 2 years ago, and it is wonderful. So we're going to start by, I have my pan over my stock pot, I should say, over medium heat. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil into that. Ooh, excuse me. Hang on a quick sec there. Technical difficulties, what can I say? That's just not going to cooperate, apparently. All right, we'll leave it as it is. To that, I'm going to add some butter, and 2 tablespoons butter. What I have is a light back there, and I was trying to get it to stand up a little bit better, so now I'm blind because I can't see the light so bright. But we have 2 tablespoons butter, 2 tablespoons olive oil, and the next thing I need to do is chop up an onion. This is an easy soup. It comes together in just about 30 minutes, so it's a good 30-minute meal. It has a ton of flavor. This is one that, you know, even I rediscover recipes on my blog. And I was in my freezer the other day. I go about every 6 months, I go through the freezer and clean out everything that's in there. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's this? And I didn't label it well. Shame on me. And it was a jar of the soup. I always end up saving a lot of pickles, so I save everything in pickle jars. And I couldn't believe after 6 months in the freezer how good it tasted. So I have to say this is definitely a winner. And so right now I am just dicing up a celery. And I'm going to wait till this cooks just, it's just about ready. Okay, perfect. I'm going to add first my onions. And the celery. This one's packed full of vegetables too, so this is a good one to, people don't know that they're eating a ton of vegetables, so if you're trying to sneak something in on somebody, this is the soup to do. So as you log on, looks like I have a couple of people on there. As you log on, please tell me where you're from. I kind of have my eye on the on the screen there, and I can watch a little bit, so I would appreciate that little bit of engagement. So I know that you're out there. Alright, so half carrot. I'm just going to add this as I go so I don't get too much stuff stacked up on my cutting board. And so tell me, are you done with your Christmas shopping? Have you started your Christmas shopping? Have you decorated your house? Oh, it looks like somebody came on. I have a secret to tell you. I finished my shopping like forever ago. I shop throughout the year, and I always do that so I can kind of do more personalized stuff. At least I feel like they're personalized for people, rather than just kind of get everything at the last minute. But I've actually put up absolutely no decorations. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's kind of how I'm rolling this year, so oops. I felt really bad about it until I talked to my friend Nicole. And Nicole said, you know, maybe this is just the year where you enjoy everybody else's decorations. And I just very well might do that. I think we're going to do some outdoor lights, and then we're going to call it a day. So we've had a busy, crazy, somewhat stressful November, so we're going it this way, and we're going to take it easier in December, and then we'll go crazy next year. So now I'm cutting up I'll see him in the pool, green pepper, and when you're trimming up those green peppers, take that little bit of extra time to get the seeds out, because they will never become palpable. They won't soften up. They're not going to be very tasty. So, you know, please take that little bit of extra time there to cut those up well and clean them out. So, and just finish chopping him up. This is great soup for a rainy, cold day. That's what I was going to tell you about. So, when we were in Oregon for the holiday, we had lots of plans. We'd hoped to go to the beach. We'd hoped to do this and that. And we did make it down to see my nephew and meet Frankie, and that was wonderful. But gosh, it rained, and it rained so hard. The whole time we were there, it was just not the best time for traveling. So we didn't end up doing any of that, which kind of worked in our favor, because we had the most wonderful visit with my folks and family that was nearby. It was super cool. And while we were there, it rained nearly 9 inches. And just to kind of give you an idea, here in Fresno, we get like 9 to 12 inches a year, and that's it. So in the 6 days we were there, it rained almost the entire rainfall for the Fresno area. So we did get our share, and when we came home, the day we flew in, it was pouring down rain here that day, and we ended up with like a ½ inch of rain, which that's big rain for here. It's following us still, and if you're in the west, up north in Oregon, like my folks, you're getting snow right now. My Midwest friends, when I used to live in Minneapolis and Green Bay, I know you're getting real bad cold right now. And to my friend Corey up north, I understand she's had some really terrible weather of 25 below. So I'm not going to complain. It's just raining here, and we desperately need it, so that's all good. But it was kind of amazing, you know, like for the 6 days we were there, we got more rain than what we would normally get the entire year here. So that was crazy. But, so we're expecting a big rain today here, and probably about 1 inch. So that'll be good. We need it. Okay, so I did the same thing with my red bell pepper, and just chopped him up really good. And in the pot he goes. And I'm just going to increase the heat just a little bit. Everything's starting to soften up nicely. And this is a big pile of vegetables in here. Let me find my There we go. And just show you, see how much this ends up being? So all that's going to go right into that, that's all going to be part of that tomato soup. So a ton of vegetables in there. And to this, I'm going to add our spices. And it's Italian herbs, pepper, salt, and smoked paprika. The Italian herbs give it that good flavor you're looking for, the spices from salt and pepper, and the paprika gives it a wonderful smoky aroma. And we're going to let that kind of cook through. And looks like we got a couple of people on. Tell me where you're from. I would love to hear where you're from. And tell me, are you members of the website? Did you know that if you log on and join the blog, you can get a free ebook, so don't forget to do that. Tell me where you're from. I'm also on Pinterest, I'm on YouTube, Instagram, really trying to grow my reach. So if you know anyone that might be interested, I have some wonderful, wonderful new recipes coming out. I'm redoing some of my old recipes too, but the recipes I have coming out, I have a new mac and cheese coming out next week. I have a pomegranate jam, which is phenomenal. Very excited about that. My mother-in-law gave me her mother's, so Dan's grandma's recipe box, and in that I found a wonderful recipe for persimmon cookies, and I've jazzed it up just a tiny bit, and it's fabulous. So this last week was all about soups and stews and slow cooked dinners. Next week I'm going to have some sweets and some jam, some good comfort food, and so make sure you join the blog if you haven't already, and you'll get the free ebook automatically when you join. So this is simmering away. I have my spices in it, the Italian herbs, smoked paprika, salt and pepper, and we're going to just let that cook away for a little bit, and then we're going to add next a couple more things before we thicken it up a bit. And this is a chipotle pepper. It's half of a chipotle pepper. Chipotle is going to give it some big, I want to say heat, but because we're only using half of the chipotle pepper, it's kind of like back heat. It's going to hit you in the back of the throat. It's not going to be like that bam in your face heat. It is a delicious addition to the tomato soup. It gives a lot of flavor. It's going to seem like you cooked it all day long. That and the smoked paprika just gives it a ton of flavor, and that slow cooked all day long. And so next I'm going to add some flour. Now for my gluten-free friends, you could substitute, actually you could leave it out if you chose to, and even for my low-carb friends, if that's not something that you're interested in, you could leave that out completely. It won't be quite as thick, or you could substitute cornstarch. So there's a couple different things you could do, or arrowroot, but there's a couple of different things you can do with that. And because I'm just jabbering away, I'm also going to mince up my garlic here. I have about 4 cloves of garlic. They were pretty small, and so I just want to mince them up, really small. The garlic doesn't take very long. Really, you need to only saute it until it just starts to begin to become fragrant. And so if you take it too far, if you get it brown, it's going to be bitter. So it really only takes a couple of minutes to get that going. So, perfect. And into the pool he goes. So, send me some likes, send me some hearts across the screen, let me know that you're there. I would sure appreciate that. So now, I'm just going to stir in that garlic really well. And with the flour in there and the garlic, you want to cook that floury taste out. And so that's what I'm doing now. It's just starting to become really fragrant in the house. It's a delicious, delicious soup. I got a couple more people on, so tell me where you're from. And just kind of show you how this is looking right now. One day I'm going to have a helper here, and they're going to zoom in and zoom out and zoom in and zoom out. But until then, we do the best we can. So see how it's starting to thicken up? The flour has turned a little bit darker gold. You can't even see it, as a matter of fact, any of the, not garlic, the flour in there. So just keep giving it a good stir. The last thing you'd ever want to happen is for the garlic to burn, because then it becomes real bitter. So perfect. So next up, tomato paste. Toss that in and give that a good stir. And by adding those things and incorporating it well, adding the next thing and incorporating it well, it gives you, it allows you to really develop flavors. And again, this is a 30-minute soup. It's not going to take forever by any stretch, but by doing those few things a bit at a time, it makes a huge difference. So next up is one 28-ounce can, 32-ounce can, I think it is, of crushed tomatoes. So here we go with that. Get all that tomatoey goodness in there. Wonderful. And fire roasted tomatoes, fire roasted chopped tomatoes. So in they go also. So now this is really going to start thickening up. So I'm going to give that another good stir and incorporate it. So you can already see how thick this is. This is an amazing tomato soup. The smoked paprika and one of the last thing that we're going to add is goat cheese. So between the smoked paprika for that smoky flavor and the tang from the goat cheese, really, really good. So here I have vegetable stock with a cup of water. And that's what we're finishing that with. I'm going to give it another good stir. And now I'm going to increase the heat to high. And as I'm stirring this, I want to make sure that I scrape everything off the bottom. You worked hard to develop all those good flavors, the brown bits off the bottom, so you want to incorporate them into the soup. So just give it a good wiggle along the bottom, get all that good stuff up there. And you can see how thick that is. Yeah, perfect. So 20 minutes later, dinner's ready. It's that easy. I don't think we've been online very long. We've got a number of different people online here. So basically what we did is chopped an onion. Into the pot it went with some olive oil and butter. To that we added celery, carrots, a red and a green pepper. Stirred that through. We seasoned it with salt and pepper, Italian herbs, and smoked paprika. The next in was tomato paste, crushed tomatoes, and roasted chopped tomatoes. So tomatoey goodness. At the very end, after about 20 minutes, I'm going to set my timer. I'm going to add goat cheese. I'm going to crumble that right into the top and let it melt through the soup. And my very last thing will be adding a cup of milk. And that's how you get that creamy bisque flavor that you're looking for. Now, at that point, it's going to be chunky. And if you want a chunky soup, you can leave it that way. To me, that's not a tomato bisque, and so, but there's certainly nothing wrong with that. At that point, I'm going to ladle everything into my blender and just blend it right up, and it becomes smooth and creamy. At that time, add the soup, add the milk, and it's just fabulous. It's big flavor. It uses a lot of things that you might have already in your pantry. I wanted to give you a couple of hints though, because this uses like half a chipotle, just half of a chipotle pepper, and then 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. What I do, because you open those and then what do you do with the rest of the can? I put them in little Ziploc containers and label them well and tuck them in the freezer. I do the same thing with tomato paste. And if I, I measure it off by tablespoons, put it in a Ziploc, and into the freezer it goes in separate Ziploc containers. And that way I know I can reach in there and grab 1 tablespoon or 1 chipotle pepper it works out really well. So anyway, that's kind of my helpful hints for doing that. Tomato bisque soup, I'm going to put the link on the video next. It's already on the blog. It's absolutely fabulous. You can keep it completely vegetarian like we did today by using vegetable stock, or if you want to, you can also use chicken stock. I wouldn't use beef stock. I don't think you'd have that same flavor, but whether you want it vegetarian or just a vegetable soup, either way works. And so quickly, it's Deb from Bowl Me Over. Sorry it's been so long since my last live feed. I apologize for that. But I've enjoyed stepping in, and thank you very much for helping me choose what we're going to make today. I think next week I'm going to make the cheeseburger soup because I know it's so popular. That one is actually an award-winning soup. I won a soup competition with that. It's already on my blog. Don't have to wait for me to show you how. It's certainly there with great instructions. So again, Deb from Bowl Me Over. Take a minute, follow me on Pinterest and Instagram and YouTube. I would love to have more followers, especially on YouTube. And check out the blog. My Christmas gift to you is that free ebook. So log on there, join the blog, and you get the free ebook. So check in when you can. It's Deb from Bowl Me Over, www.bowl-me-over.com. Happy holidays to you. Hope you're having a great holiday season. Any questions regarding this recipe or any other, let me know. I have about 15 more minutes for this to simmer, and dinner's going to be done. So hope you have a fabulous day. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.